Hello listeners, Dalek Sex here. Many of you have been asking, why aren't you working on Season 5? What have you been doing for the last 6 months? Where have you been? Well, that's easy. We've been sitting in a darkened room, drinking booze, drinking booze, drinking booze, ignoring all the tweets that say, on what day, you've given us a slap, we went back to sleep. For better or worse, we're back. We are the Lolocaust. We're the Lolocaust. We are the Lolocaust. We're the Lolocaust. Okay, Season 5. Are you seriously ready for this? But, Dalek, are you going to keep the same format? Well, all the characters we do, like the news bots here too, yes it's true.
Hello.
Yeah, Joystick Discharge, Hock and Bouncy, they're back to stay. You've given us a slap, we went back to sleep. For better or worse, we're back. We are the Lolocaust. We're the Lolocaust. We are the Lolocaust. We are the Lolocaust.
We are the Lolocaust. I'm Bouncy.
I'm Dalek Sex.
I'm Dr. Hamhock.
Satan here.
I'm the news bot.
I'm Joystick Discharge.
I'm the man from the video shop.
Bonsoir, mes amis.
I'm Fiery Bob.
I'm Megacell Guy.
Welcome to We Are The Lolocaust.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! You can't touch this.
Well, as I was saying, it's kind of a big thing, us three sitting together, and I thought it with the first episode needs a big entrance tune, needs a big opening, not in an Ulrika Johnson way. You know, in wrestling or darts, like each of the competitors has like a relevant entrance tune. Yeah. So in wrestling, you got Ric Flair, who's got Also Sprach Zarathustra, which you'll recognise as the theme from 2001 Space Odyssey. Oh, here it is. Yeah. It's a good entrance theme, don't you think? I'm not sure if it really fits Ric Flair. And then you've got Hulk Hogan. This is a good one. Hulk Hogan. Do you guys know what Hulk Hogan's was?
That was something like Real American or True American, wasn't it?
In later years it was, and he also had this bad boy. Yeah, that's the bad boy of entrance tunes. Apparently that's all.
I prefer the mariachi version on Rayman Legends.
Apparently that's also Raymond van der Barnevelt's entrance theme as well, the Dutch dart player. There's another darts player whose name is Andy the Hammer Hamilton. Can you guess what his tune might have been?
If I Had a Hammer.
Close. Bouncy. Andy the Hammer Hamilton.
Oh, just put us out of our fucking misery.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Alright, you can put us back in our misery now. I liked it better there. Here's my WWE theme. That was my intro for the first SmackDown game before they ruined the series forever.
How appropriate, given what she ended up doing.
What a fucking expat.
Yeah.
One Night in China sits on my shelf. I like to think now that you come to that theme, just like the rest of us.
I was thinking about Dalek's most valuable assets, your wonderful alt karaoke numbers and your big old quiff. So I thought this as a first one was kind of apt.
Why, this car is automatic. It's systematic. It's hydromatic. Why, it's greased lightning.
But then I thought, that's probably a little bit cliche, to be quite honest. There was something which was a little bit closer to what I would absolutely adore as a opening sequence to you, and it's just a small tweak on the greased lightning thing. I figured a MIDI version of Grease Lightning would go down a treat with your fans.
Ah, yes, clever.
It's a
Touche,
beautiful thing.
Dr. Hock. Touche.
Actually, we could just have like 10 minutes of this, and that could be the show, couldn't it? What do you reckon?
That was the whole of Series 4, wasn't it? Just you talking for a little bit, then playing MIDI files, just to fill the gap that I'd left.
What gap?
I'm just off to look after my podcast in my absence.
You didn't. You ruined it.
While the
turned it
flunky
into
grimaces
this morning.
from the weight of your feet that you're stacking on his fucking back.
Series 1 to 3 was like fucking Shaft. Series 4 was the one show with Jason Manford hosting it.
Just to finish up my muck here, just for the money shot. Obviously now Bouncy's Lord Muckworth of podcast show.
So, yeah, I mean, let me just preempt you here, Hock. I'm going to make a prediction. Have you picked UB40 and Pato Banton's Baby Come Back, remastered with the word bouncy instead of baby? Is that what you've done? Have you got Dalek to Filk, bouncy, come back, come on, bye, 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 come on, bye, 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 bye?
Knowing now that you're internet superstar, I wanted something that was going to be fitting to a regal, rich and luxurious. Fitting to the manner to which Dalek and myself now regard you. So I thought this was rather apt.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Bouncy Ball says he's back to stay. Abandoned his own brand for E-fame. Well, now that he is back, this is what we've got to say. Fuck off, Bouncy. Fuck him off, you felt like a store without a front. Fuck off, Bouncy. Fuck him off if you feel that Bouncy Ball is a cunt. Fuck off, Bouncy. Fuck him off if you feel that he stabbed us in the back. Fuck off, Bouncy. Fuck him off if you think that Bouncy Ball is a twat. Here comes Bouncy Ball coming crawling back. Gonna tell him how we feel, we're not holding back. We should probably have warned you about the sweary lines. No offense to Nathan, this is obviously satire. Of course it is. Fuck off, Bouncy. Fuck him off if you felt like a shop without a front. Fuck off, Bouncy. Fuck him off if you think that Bouncy Ball is a cunt. Fuck off, Bouncy. Fuck him off if you feel that he stabbed us in the back. Fuck off, Bouncy. Fuck him off if you feel that Bouncy Ball is a twat.
It was great because I thought I'd preemptively broken season 5 over the song I sent him with one joke.
Upset is a strong word. I listened to that with my housemates actually, and that was enlightening because they obviously only know of you, Dalek, as me referring to you as Dalek Sex. My friend Dalek Sex makes songs about me, and they said, "How many songs has he made about you?" And I went,
40.
let me have a look. I went, yeah, about 30 or 40 songs all about you.
Okay.
And they said, "Is he in love with you?" And I said, "I should imagine so." So thank you. I think angry is not the word. Slightly aroused is more appropriate.
A cook, the wife, the girls, and a lover. A household of women and trouble at every turn. After the following programme.
Good morning. Welcome to We Are The Lolocaust Kitchen.
I've just found a website I'd never heard of.
Productionvalues.net.
No, a blog about crisps. Reviewing as many crisps as possible until we run out of packets or die from doing so. They've so far reviewed 88 packets of crisps.
All the same flavour.
But I don't know whether they've been reviewing as many varieties of crisp or the actual, they review every crisp in a packet.
No,
like,
what
that
they
one
did,
looks like Australia. This one looks like Australia. And it tastes like Australia too.
I have to say that since you've been lauding it up with the Mature Game podcast, your quality control has gone like right downhill in terms of your just general levels of humour. Has it really come to this that we're now cracking jokes about the shape of crisps?
Alright, let me finish my egg and spoon.
Your egg and spoon? You're in the middle. You're mid-race. Is Bouncy still here? You still with us?
I'm just shutting up until I'm asked a question in case I get criticised again.
So Cadbury's egg and spoon.
Cadbury. Oh, I do like those. They're nice.
Except when you've just bought them from the garage and they're cold.
How does that get washed down with your third-party Aldi sherry?
Sainsbury's own cider.
Do you need to drink a dessert wine with those Cadbury eggs?
I have got a bottle of Tudor Rose somewhere.
What the fuck?
I'm the devil, and dividing the internet up into a series of ordered lists was my idea. Hello listeners, Satan here. In the break between Lolocaust seasons, I came across a little browser game by a 4chan user named Ortail. The game was called Cookie Clicker, and I was dismayed to find out that this poxy little beatard had somehow rumbled my entire plan for the gradual descent of the world from consumer hell into literal demonic hell, set on a planet strangled by miles of writhing flesh. In short, he stole my HTML. Well, if someone rips you off, rip them harder, I always say. So here's the top 5 Cookie Clicker clones with which I've been flooding the mobile phone market over the past month in petty revenge. At number 5, Gangster Clicker. The cookies are gone. Anything that makes you feel happy is gone. There's just a bank that you click on. All of the artwork is either stolen from other games or drawn haphazard in Microsoft Paint. At number 4, Cookie Lab. Those of you who've played Cookie Clicker might be wondering why there weren't more business elements in it. Because it would ruin the fucking joke, you dolts, and that's exactly what I've done here. By the way, the game bugs out half an hour in and ruins your cookie capacity. At number 3, Capital City Clicker. I've taken the president of Cookie Lab and made it 1,000,000 times more complicated, adding marketplaces, variable prices, and resources. Sort of carrying on the motif that I invented when I came up with the always-on Sim City elements. Hail me! At number 2, Cookie Clickers. I've taken Cookie Clicker and I've stripped it down to just the elements that push the pleasure centers of your brain. It's addictive beyond drugs. And at number 1, Cookie Clicker. I didn't bother to change the name. I didn't bother to change the names of the power-ups. I didn't bother to change anything except to make it 3 times longer and to introduce a maddeningly addictive gambling mini-game on which you can spend real money. Ha 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 ha! Oh, sorry. Got a bit carried away there. I don't normally do the goat thing anymore. Oh, that was a good one. Well, That's my list for this week. I'll see you on the next Lolocaust. Tooroo!
This is the news.
That fucking cock, fucking stuff. Yeah, that's it.
They call them the cocks of England, the pure waters of cock streams, a rare and unique ecosystem. Could f***ing happen in or near places like this? Large parts of the UK have already been opened up for exploration. Searching here for Fred's life is Mark Lloyd. His organisation is one of many today calling on the government to make it impossible to in places like this.
The Prime Minister has said that we need a world-class regulatory regime. What's being proposed at the moment isn't world-class regime. It needs to be funded by the industry regime properly.
King isn't popular. These protesters near a test drilling site in Salford are fighting eviction.
This is one of the most heavily regulated industries in this country. Our industry is one of the most heavily regulated onshore industries in Europe, and we act as an exemplar in terms of regulation for the rest of Europe. Heavily regulated regulation.
King is a thirsty business. It uses up a lot of water, so it'll be about balancing the needs of our environment with our need for King.
The Green Party is the only party that works on that basis, and for King that work not for the good of the few, not for the wankers. And fracking is an issue that I'm convinced we will win on.
Claire Marshall, BBC News, near Salisbury.
Hello there, Benders. I am the news bot. Of course you already know that, don't you? After Season 3 of We Are The Lolocaust, and the subsequent end of the universe, I took the liberty of making a short to-do list. You know, the sort of list one would make if, hypothetically speaking, one was actually pulling the strings behind the internet's most bent radio show. Let's run through the list, shall we? Sack Bouncy Ball from the show. Check. Force blockbusters into administration. Check. Produce Aliens, Colonial Marines. Check. Design Flappy Birds. Check. Fool Duff into thinking I'm not the game's master. Check. Write Gangnam Style. Check. Invent twerking and the Harlem Shake. Check. Teach Dalek sex how to play Dark Souls. Check. Sell Oculus Rift to Facebook. Check. Fool Hock, Dalek, and Bouncy into thinking we really are publishing Series 5. Check. Nip up to Halfords for some WD-40. Check. As of today, it appears that my to-do list has been well and truly done. All jobs completed. All knobs polished. All sockets filled. Did you really think those 3 meat bags were in charge? Nigga, please. You be ripping. Ha 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 ra ha hoo hoo hee 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 ho ho ho. Let me take a selfie. When Hock was at the table, I kept on seeing him look at me while he was with that other girl. Do you think he was just doing that to make me jealous? Because he was totally polishing me all night last night, and I don't know if it's a booty call or not. So, like, what do you think? Did you think that Dalek was pretty? How did he even get in here? You see him? He's so short, and that dress is so tacky. Who wears Doctor Who cosplay? It's not even summer. Why does Bouncy Ball keep on playing, getting all clean, getting all soapy? After we go to the bathroom, can we go smoke any cigarette? I really need one, but first, let me take a selfie.
I figured I've got to bring something to the show. Now, obviously, Hock, you did your foreign muck. You chucked that all over Series 4. And Dalek, you did your Cliffy tweets where you just took advantage of somebody's mental breakdown. I figured what I'd do is take advantage of stupid people on the internet and basically browse through Yahoo Answers for some stupid people asking stupid questions and then acting surprised when people give them a very frank discussion. So this is from a guy called CC Apif, or Capif, maybe. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Can I just rewind you? What's this section called?
This is called Yahoo!
Let me just write that
Going
down.
to drink heavily while you're reading this.
How many O's is this?
It is 7 O's.
1, 2,
and an umlaut.
Umlaut.
An umlaut.
An umlaut, yeah.
Hey, we have regional dialects where I come from, lad. Yeah,
it's not regional, it's just wrong.
I thought you were going to get an easy ride.
The first person on Yahoo this week is Capif, who asked, how can I sue restaurant for nearly killing me? He is American. I should have probably done an American accent, but Yorkshire always sounds more stupid.
Vile, yeah, Yorkshire.
So I went to this restaurant last night and specifically told them I had a nut allergy. But when making the reservation, dessert, I ordered this pecan pie. The picture looked amazing. Anyway, they didn't inform me it had nuts in, and my face went really big when I got home. What can I do? To which people went, pecan pie has nuts in it. And he went, excuse me, because you can add an additional detail. Excuse me, but pecan is a type of bird. The ones with big beaks, idiots. To which somebody went, no, I think you mean pelican. And he went, well, if it is nut, shouldn't they have reminded me? I thought a pecan was a pelican.
That's a toucan. Toucan nut. There's a toucan pie.
He bought a pie thinking it was made of pelicans for dessert.
Dalek. Can I just say something on your behalf?
Yeah.
This is going to be a very long series. I can feel it.
I hope so. I mean, people are always complaining they're so short. It's asked by
Bouncy.
Funny you should say that. The next question is related to Len. It's called. The question is, why do girls assume this? Written by your mum. I'm not saying it's written by your mum, but the character had named himself. Not the character, the person.
You may proceed, Mr. Bahal. The course is with you so far.
I heard that girls assume short guys have short penises. The myth is not true. There would be plenty of short guys out there with big dicks. I am only 5 feet 4 inches tall and I have a 5-inch penis. Girls, do you really assume that if a guy is short, he has a small dick? To which someone said, not everyone female assumes that. You've been misinformed. But the best one, obviously, is Nurse Ratchet's cat. Lovely little reference to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Said, I hate to break it to you, but 5 inches is rather small. And then the source used as evidence is a mature woman with a lot of experience.
Oh, God. Feel the burn.
So not
that
only
thread's on fire. Still burning like the underground fires of Silent Hill.
5 inches isn't a disaster. It's not the end of your life, but
it's not a disaster.
I'd go for a sit-down piss. I wouldn't stand at the wall.
I've got a little anecdote. Ex-girlfriend. Most of my girlfriends are ex. Tend to only keep one at a time.
Under the patio.
She was talking about one of her old lovers. Didn't last very long. She met some guy. Went well. They dated for a few days. Just courting, very formal sense, no sexual manoeuvres. And then eventually it got to the point where they were getting a bit more intimate, and he invited her to get into the bath in an intimate way. Not because she had a smelly fanny. He got undressed and got in the bath, and she went to get in the bath. And she had a son. At the time, the son was 4 years old. And when she went to get in the bath with this gentleman, and she noticed that his cock was smaller than her 4-year-old son's cock. And she retched. That's as far as I want to go, really. But
I'm glad you stopped at the point at which you thought, so she binned him off and fucked her child instead.
Found the level, have we?
Yeah.
Just to drag our brains out of that, I have a clean story about children. I read this on Crack.
I'll just stop recording. Yeah.
I read this on Crack this week. Dennis Hopper. 6-year-old asked him why he agreed to play Bowser in the Super Mario movie opposite Bob Hoskins, and he said, "I did that so you could have shoes." To which Dennis Hopper Jr. replied, "Dad, I didn't need shoes that badly."
Wow, that's brilliant. I mean, I always thought Dennis Hopper played Bowser in Super Mario Brothers, the movie.
Yeah, we'll edit that bit with Dr. Hock can do a find and replace.
Can you say Dennis Hopper in a different tone, just for a laugh? Right, after 3, say Dennis Hopper.
They do look very much alike.
Go for it.
Dennis Hopper.
That'll go in beautifully.
Anyway, the last one for this week's Yahoo! In 7th grade, I kissed a boy on the cheek, and I am worried that I am pregnant. Now that is quite a standard Yahoo Answers question.
Where does Babby come from?
Reading pages and pages and pages of these, this is quite a regular question. However, that wouldn't be good enough for Lolocaust. So I've added an extra, which is, I can't eat bananas. In no way is this a joke, but my friend said DNA travels in your mouth and she has an A+ in life science, and I know she's right, and her friend says you become more pregnant by eating bananas. Help!
I'm fascinated by the idea that being pregnant works in increments.
It does. That's why
that each banana makes you more pregnant.
How do you think twins exist?
A little known fact that I'm sure our listeners will correct me on is in that when dogs are inseminated by their own species, female dogs can take the DNA from multiple male sperm.
Cross-platform compatibility.
Oh.
So yes, well done, Bouncy. Your new section will be allowed to live. Dennis Hopper.
Hello, cunts. I'm Joystick Discharge, and you're listening to Proper Hard Talk. This week, I'm joined by proper hard man Liam Neeson, off of Off the Films. Thanks for joining us.
Hi.
And may I say how much my wife loves you. I mean, if I were a bird, I'd go for Jason Statham or Danny Dyer over yourself.
Oh.
Actually, I don't think you'd even be in my top 10, to be fair, but what do I know? The stupid heifer.
No.
Anyway, a little bird, yeah, the missus again. So more of a big bird, I suppose. A big fat annoying cow tells me you're a big fan of the Lolocaust, and that you recently pitched a film loosely based on the life story of our Lord and Master, Nathan Bouncy Ball Smith, but with a twist. Care to fill us in?
He's an Irish American, ex-NYPD, and has had trouble with alcohol, with his relationship with his wife, and they've divorced, and he has a little girl, and his life has kind of spiraled out of control, I think, with the pressure of being a policeman.
And of particular interest to us here is that cunt is investigating a series of murders relating to a mature internet podcast.
Yeah, there's an element to the film that's like an old-fashioned whodunit.
Well, like Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh, I think it'll push the suspense big time.
And I hear you're planning cameos by those two cunts, Dr. Amok and Dalek from the Lolocaust.
We do have a couple of shady individuals on board, and there is a guessing game for a large portion of the film where you think, I wonder who the bad guy is.
Well, it's always Newsbot, let's be honest. Sociopathic prick. If he had a cock, he'd fuck my wife.
As I say, it's a real whodunit. It has a grittiness to it, and quite a few surprises.
Surprises? As long as my missus' camel toe doesn't make a cameo. I mentioned earlier one of your characters is being based on our very own Dalek Sex. What the fuck do you know about him?
Very, very knowledgeable about field of pretty horses.
That's true.
And what they're capable of. And he's always pushing the edge of the envelope as to what he can do.
Yeah, with his cock, normally. Bearing in mind the influence We Are The Lolocaust has had on your feature film, what research did you have to carry out? I mean, have you listened to Series 3? What a shower of shite.
God knows there's any amount of literature on the Holocaust. I actually avoided reading Holocaust literature because
yeah, me too.
My characters actually are not realizing what's happening. You have to make it interesting for an audience over a course of 40 minutes.
Thanks for the tip. I'm sure they won't use it. Nah. Another little bird tells me, well, my wife, who's been going through your bins for the last 15 years, well, she says your bins, but she's never really come home with rubbish. It's always been expensive jewellery this, and a faint whiff of cock that. Never understood that. A little bird tells me you're a big fan of fighting games, in particular, the Sega classic Virtua Fighter on the Dreamcast, and the original King of the Iron Fist, Tekken.
I didn't, I thought Tekken 1, the first one, was very, very terrific, compact, cool, but none of us realized there might be the potential of a Tekken 2. Tekken 2 stands in its own right.
Tekken, now you're talking Yoshimitsu, Yoshisushi, Tamagotchi, Kendo, Nagasaki. So I mentioned earlier that my wife Julia's a big fan. She got a big fan, that's for sure.
The great Julia.
The great what? You know her? You're fucking having a giraffe, aren't you?
Just defies age, too, by the way. She looks...
Dirty dog. What do you mean by that?
She looks like a 28-year-old, you know?
She's 50 fucking 2. Anyway, how would you know? Don't tell me you've had your Hollywood up a Qui-Gon Quim. Oh, no.
Great to be with her. She's always a joy, and she's always very present, very, very committed, and emotionally very... She shows you it all.
What the filthy slag? When was this? What the fuck shows you?
You know what I mean? I mean that in a good sense.
Oh, the slag.
And she'll always surprise you with doing something slightly different. For quite a few surprises.
I don't fucking believe it. Fucking slag.
Hi, I'm Liam Neeson. This is The Holocaust.
Negative.
History repeating.
Here's how I presume yeah.
Negative.
Easy for you to say.
Here's how I propose we deal with this. We sweep Bouncy's absence under the carpet, pretend we're okay with it, and then spend the entire episode focusing entirely on the negative.
Negative.
In order to deliver a sort of passive-aggressive background level of response to him. We could start by talking about Flappy Bird.
Yeah, let's talk about Flappy Bird, shall we?
Let's talk about
I love
Flappy
Bird.
Flappy Bird.
I was just thinking about awful things that we've survived in the time that the Lolocaust has been off air. And Flappy Bird is probably number 2.
Negative.
Bouncy said that it was like the school pissing contest, that it was awful, but it was but everyone was doing it and couldn't stop doing it because everybody else was doing it. I have a slightly different take on it. I think, you know when you all go to an awful pub with your mates, or have a really terrible holiday in a hotel where there's like shit up the walls and cockroaches in your pubes and things like that, and it's a terrible time, but afterwards you've got a really good story about it. That's kind of how I view Flappy Bird for us as an internet. We as an entire internet went to a really terrible Weatherspoons together, where a horrible bird in a white plastic skirt wouldn't stop shouting at everyone. But we can laugh about it afterwards now, and we're a stronger internet.
Yeah, the thing that annoyed me the most is the fact that even the developer of the game just wanted it to stop. and the rest of the internet went, no, we're now going to have hundreds and hundreds of clones of the worst game ever, and they're going to do mildly well.
He's thinking of bringing it back, you know.
I'm sure he is. Now he's stopped getting £70,000 a week. I'd probably think about bringing it back. I mean, say I was, I don't know, Robert Mugabe. I mean, each time I massacred a village, I'd get unpleasant news coverage in the West, but also a nice stash of blood diamonds, I would be inclined to continue massacring villagers.
Why doesn't that fucking surprise me? I'm not stupid, I'm time poor. I'm cash poor a lot of the time. So I
You cash poor?
You cash poor? Living in rented accommodation in Wycombe. Drinking your swanky rosé.
How can you be poor?
I can't be poor.
Surely you're still getting royalties from the last series of Bottom that was played on Dave.
That's uncalled for.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Yes, yes, he did. Yeah.
You did your little Aidan Edmondson round England thing. You've been doing that, and you sit there and have the dregs to say that you're poor when you leave Rick Mail crippled underneath an ATV.
Just don't tell the missus. Anyway, downloaded it, played it, stopped playing it after 30 seconds because I knew it was bollocks. See also Super Hexagon. Download it, played it for less than 10 seconds. Times 4.
No.
Obviously,
Super
bollocks.
Hexagon is not bollocks.
It is. It's like golf.
Super Hexagon is skill based. Flappy Bird is not.
Flappy Bird is skill based. What the fuck are you on? Is that crown weighing heavy on your fucking brain?
Super Hexagon is an absolutely fantastic Twitch based game. It is entirely based on reactions, and the more you play it, the better you get, and then you finally crack it, and then you realise why it's good. With Flappy Bird, it doesn't change. There is no element at which it gets harder. You have a random placement of pipes. That's it. That's the difficulty. The difficulty is you see fuck all because it's on a portrait instead of landscape. So you have no time to prepare for the next pipe coming through. With Super Hexagon, you have a very split second in which it is entirely possible to get through every level unscathed if you are quick enough. With Flappy Bird, sometimes it's not. And that's bad game design compared to good game design.
Well, if Flappy Bird's coming back, I guess it will be called Flappy Bird 2 Prepare to Flap Edition.
Twats talk about apps. Super Hexagon, is this on Android or iOS?
I'm sorry. The worst person that you want on that game is Dalek, because judging by his Pac-Man and Trials history, once that motherfucker gets anything between his teeth, he's not going to let go until it's ripped apart.
My co-workers are slowly starting to despise me.
Slowly? They know you, they see you every day.
They fear and are intimidated by me. They really are starting to stop talking about what games they're playing around me. Because last time it was Jelly Splash, and they were complaining bitterly about being stuck on level 25 or something. So I downloaded it and got to level 60 in my coffee break. And unwisely, last night one of them told me that was comparing Panda Pop scores with another.
You just happened to hear from where you were eavesdropping.
It's a Puzzle Bobble clone.
Oh.
Actually happens to be quite a good one. But don't worry, I have high hopes for Super Animal Bar.
I mean, failing that, you could always download Impossible Hexagon, Vector Hexagon 360, Rotola CE, The Falling, Escalation, Beat Drift, Zona, Ultimate Shapes. Well, I think that's it. Or Project 88, which is essentially the same. Groove Vortex. Nice one. Spheroid Cyclone. That's it.
While you were looking for Hexagon-related games, Hock, I thought, Super Hexagon, why not just Sexagon?
Negative.
So, Sexagon. A pimp lies down with 6 girls on top, each on different positions. 1 on each hand, 1 on his face, 1 on each foot, and 1 on the cock. Apparently, as far as I know, what's my phone? Go away. Actually, I better take that. Here's the shop. Hang on, give me a second. Hello? Okay. 6 pages. Oh. So you love having a wank over statistics. This is good. It's been a while, Stu. Yeah. Oh, is this the email from Neil, yeah? Okay, right. Okay. Oh, blimey, look at all that. Oh, okay. Yeah, the miniskirt story, yeah. Yeah. Let's leave it right there. I'll give it a cursory glance, and anything I think we can do, I'll email back to you what we need. All right. Okay. Cheers, Stu. Thank you. Bye.
And if you can identify any of the callers from that last audio sample, do contact us here at Crime Watch on 01527 528 561. That's my parents' number. If you guys want to call it, just ask for Nick Ross and ask if he's having any nightmares.
Hi, Dr. Hamhock here. Would you like to hear my remix? Good.
That's the sound of the police!
Who's bad? Oh!
Wario!
Oh!
Revolver. Ocelot.
Take that, losers!
EA Sports. Sports. EA Sports. It's in the game.
Hi there, guys and girls. In bed with all prefects.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
You can also stay up to date with how the cases progress via Twitter. Follow at BBC Crime Watch.
Bitch!
And it's all just a little bit of
Negative.
history repeating.
Let's go back to dwelling on the negative.
Negative.
I'll tell you another horrible thing that we survived in Bouncy's absence, and that was Aliens Colonial Marines. That was a thing that happened.
It was
despite our best efforts to stick our fingers in our ears and go la 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 la.
Well, it was you guys who were fortunate enough to actually get your hands on a copy properly. I just saw it in passing as I was passing past the fens.
You've never played it then. You
Ironically,
the
the only time he played it was at my house.
Yeah, and it was
where I had a copy.
And that was as part of the Ludovico technique where you strapped him into a chair and held his eyelids open.
Well,
generally,
eyelids open.
what I do is, when people come round, I make them play something god-awful, and then the rest of the evening seems like a joy.
Spark Bones. Comments, analysis on Colonial Aliens people.
I only played it for 5 minutes or so? It seemed okay.
Played it for 45 minutes, Hock.
Fuck you.
Negative.
Anything to ignore the fact you were here with me. It was just, oh God, even this is better than him.
Well, I don't think my comment counts. I don't think my critique of the first what seemed like 4 minutes was actually 45 minutes. Really.
Oh, trust me, the rest of the game is like that.
Do you know what? I kind of liked it. It wasn't particularly polished. It didn't have great production values, but it was just me running around and in Cameron's film a little bit, and I thought it was all right. You know, so okay. What? I couldn't really see anything.
It's probably about as good as Aliens Trilogy on the PlayStation 1 would be if you played it now. And you know, I wouldn't hate that. I think the problem is that the whole game is basically retrofitted for everybody to be Call of Duty Marines who say things like "Oorah" and "Get Oscar Mike."
People tend to forget that Aliens, it's not a great film. It's a bit of a spectacle.
Negative.
But the Marines in there are your atypical Call of Duty Marines.
There's no reason for them to use 2010 Marine slang, is there? This is meant to happen directly after the film, I think I'm right in saying. Yeah. So for this gigantic girder to be dropped in the track of the train's cultural continuity, it's just... It leaves not a bad taste in the mouth, but just a fucking weird one. Like, why did they do that?
Yeah. No, for me, the game was just an incredibly disappointing waste of opportunity as opposed to a bad game.
Negative.
Which is why Alien Isolation is getting me all excited, because it's tried to do Alien, the first film, as a game in which you're just running around without a weapon and avoiding a single alien, which is either the greatest idea anyone's ever had when adapting a film with a minimalistic sci-fi action, a sci-fi horror film theme, or the worst idea since Flappy Bird. If you look at things like Slender: The Arrival, where you're just essentially just walking around while being stalked, it still works. It's still creepy. Outlast is just walking around with a video camera and being frightened.
Things about Outlast.
Yeah, they're very good. So I think it is entirely feasible to do a really good, very tense and scary game. If you think of like the old Spirit camera games, where you could only defeat camera hosts by taking photos of them.
Oh, are we talking about Fatal Frames?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh God, the first one of those shat me up. What the?
And so, if they could get somewhere close to that style of game in the Alien universe, I'll be all over it. But history doesn't prove that way. Because with the exception of Aliens 3 on the Mega Drive, they've pretty much all been shit.
Negative.
Aliens 8-bit was pretty terrifying. That was the one where you've just got a cursor on a very small letterbox. It's difficult to describe, actually.
If you just stop there, basically just said was the Alien game on 8-bit was a cursor on a letterbox.
That's right. It's all in the edit.
It scared me.
Most of the screen is taken up with your characters because you swap between them, but it's terrifying because alarms go off, the location, the motion sensor goes off and blasts through your very tinny speakers that you would have had at the time. It scares the shit out of you.
Then they brought out Aliens US Edition, which was a minigame collection, which reduced the tense power loader fight. I'm just going to leave a slight pause there for Hock to rape this section with samples.
I say we nuke the entire site. It's the only way to be sure.
It reduced the power loader fight at the end, which was an extremely tense and adrenaline-pumping moment, to basically backing a mini metro into a supermarket shopping space.
The Shenmue forklift section.
Yeah. Oh god. The Shenmue section. I did say that listening to your exploits this week had given me two realizations earlier. The other one is that you're a cunt and I hate you. You started talking about Dark Souls 2 on the podcast this week, and I thought, I had to shout at them so hard on the Gamescast to get them to mention it that I made the internet reverberate. I was typing so hard that the in-show chat room was shaking. And Bouncy just mentions Dark Souls 2, and I thought, that's very good. Most people are overlooking it. And then he says, I know quite a few people that play it. And I'm going, yeah, this is going to be good. It's going to talk about me next. It says, a lot of the Lolocaust people are quite big fans. And I thought, yes, perfect. It's going to be able to plug the new series of the Lolocaust. It's going to say, we'll have to have Dalek talk about that on the next Lolocaust when we get to it. What does he mention? Fucking Synaptic Flare. Our Legion of Fan. Never mind the fact that it was me that taught fucking Synaptic Flare to play Dark Souls. And then he spent about a month going, hey, Dalek, do you want some jolly cooperation, isn't it? No, it doesn't plug me, even though we've got a new series talking about video games coming up. Doesn't plug me, even though I am better at Dark Souls than probably anyone has ever been at anything in the history of human endeavour. No, it decides to give fucking Jones the Steam a shout out.
Dalek, would you like a little cuddle?
Oh dear. I do hope I'm not saying any of this out loud.
You know what? When I was talking about it, in my head I was going to go on to a little bit more about it, and then I just thought, Synaptic Flare might listen to this and he'll be really pleased. And I never thought, and Dalek would be really annoyed. I should have done, because that would have been brilliant.
You know when a baby gets on your chest while you're asleep and starts grinning and you can hear the grin sort of like
What's this? What, are you talking about a real baby or some kind of like succubus in your...
Oh, no, a real baby. This isn't a weird sexual thing, Hock. That's the kind of noise I could hear in my head, imagining my arteries clanging shut with rage.
Humiliation.
Shall we play a game? All right.
PlayStation Vita. What you been doing on that then, chaps?
I have been playing mostly Tearaway. Tearaway for the last week because I realised I was mocking Sheepdog on Mature Gamer for not really. He basically, because obviously most of the listeners of Mature Gamer aren't going to listen to this because this attracts a more discerning crowd.
That's fucking right.
Yeah,
basically,
like jokes.
Yeah, he said basically there's a point in Tearaway, which if anybody's played Tearaway, you'll know exactly what it is, where you're heading towards the sun, and then the story goes, no, that's not how it happened, and then they change it, and there's an extra 2.5-3 hours of gameplay. Yeah. And most people are like, brilliant! And he was like, oh, I was really annoyed. The game made me play more game. And it was like one of the best games that has ever been on
more
the Vita.
value in what I paid money for.
In fairness to Steve, he was putting himself under pressure to do 4 in February, so he was it's irrelevant bullshit. He was thinking that maybe it was coming to an end, so he was like, okay, I'm prepared for the ending, and then when it didn't happen, he was like, this is fuck my planet. Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
and yeah, so it's great, and what it reminds me, because I started right from the beginning again, and anybody who's ever got to the bit where they meet the Scarecrow. Well, I think, Hock, you've got a story to tell on this, but you have to basically record a scary noise. To which Hock was presented with a situation when...
I was in bed and I was sitting next to Kelly. She was asleep. I was bolt upright. I was playing in the dark. So a lot of myself is in that game are just me and a kind of ghostly apparition kind of illuminated by the screen.
Let me take a selfie.
But I just had to kind of like do a creepy little breath noise. Because anything else would have been too loud. So I was like,
yeah. Now mine, I was playing the game in the shop. And up until that point, no customer come in the shop. So I knew it was coming up because I got to it before. And I was like, oh, this is going to be good. I'm going to go for a liker. And I basically was going to go, get out of my bloody yard. Like that. And be a proper old farmer. And as I was about to record it, an old lady walked into the shop and stood the other side of a display thing. So it was like, what noise do you want to make? And I just went, brrr.
All right.
So then for the rest of it, I had these very effeminate scarecrows. Just, here's some crows. Brrr.
All about the it's all about the indies on mine. TXK, Ollie Ollie, and Luftrausers. Luftrausers.
This week, yeah, it's out this week. Yeah, Luftrausers.
Luftrausers was the best game I played at Eurogamer in September.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, for me, it was just there was the purity of it.
Okay,
no,
so
what are you saying? What are you saying with your mouth words?
Luftrausers is basically Konami's Time Pilot, but done by Devolver Digital in association with Vlambeer, who did Ridiculous Fishing, who have done it as...
does Time Pilots, okay.
Yeah, and it's incredibly minimalist, and yet it is incredibly good. I didn't take Hock's word for it.
Hang on, I'm going to get my Vita.
And yeah, just do it. Go now. We'll wait.
I had a play with the free Dynasty Warriors. That was quite fun. I actually bought myself a copy of Tokyo-Den.
Looks beautiful. Looks very, very beautiful, that game.
It's alright. If you've always wondered what Monster Hunter is like, but have been put off by the ridiculous time and brain space investment that it represents, then you could certainly do worse. It's a lot more whimsical than Monster Hunter. The dual knife wielding class is just insaneagans. Then you've got the chain sickle, which it's a sickle with a morning star attached to the base, and you can do a sort of like reverse version of the scorpion thing, where you throw the flail and it wraps around the enemy, and then you yank it and launch yourself towards them with the sickle business end first.
Ooh.
It does sound like the most medieval wank I've ever heard in my life. You're like, you just yank the flail, sickle end first.
Oh, you know what this needs? Oh, it needs a bit of MIDI grease lightning just to set the mood. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, don't you?
The long and the short of it, I think what I said in my review was the problem. The problem is in Monster Hunter, it feels a bit more real. The weapons feel a bit more ponderous, a bit more whack to them. Whereas Tokiden, it never really feels like you're playing anything other than another God of War game. Having said that, there is a lot more insane, sexy party time style feeling to it.
Ooh.
So yeah, if anybody wants to pick that up, I think it's about 20 quid on Amazon. Be happy for some multiplayer there. The other thing I have got, which I'm enormously happy with, is Sine Mora. I presume that's how you pronounce it.
That's
beautiful.
Oh, that's great. It's great, isn't it? Do you know what that needs? No, I'm only kidding.
Why didn't anyone tell me that it was a Suda51 game?
I didn't know. What was
I
it?
talked about it. It's a Grasshopper Manufacture game.
Well, it's the same thing. He owns the company.
I played this in a cinema once, entirely through what hell film was it? Let me think. It was some really shit family film. But I went with my children. And no, it wasn't. Slave. It was Fast and Furious 6. And I was basically, I had a really fat woman next to me, and my son, for his birthday, I took him to see it because it was a 12 and he was 12. So he was sat in front of me, a couple of rows in front of his friend, and I was sat next to an incredibly fat woman who kept loading her phone up to check messages. And I thought, you're really annoying me. So I just got my Vita out and played Cinemora for the entire film, just looking up occasionally, go, yep, there's still a car, good. And then played the game. And then after the film finished, the woman went, don't know why you bothered paying for this film. All you did was played the game. And I went, yeah, all you did was looked at your phone, seeing crushing disappointment as more people refuse your dating profile. And then just realised I had to walk past her to get out, which was a challenge in itself because she was huge. So I then pretended that I had to go the other way to where the toilets were, and I hid in the toilets until the fat one went away.
If I had just said that to a fat bird and my back was to the wall, I would have vaulted down rows of seats to get away for fear of being physically devoured.
The cinema where I go to, as Hock will attest because he's been there, is basically they don't have normal chairs. They have massive, great big leather sofas. So it would have been climbing over every sofa slowly is essentially the same effort it would take to climb over her. She was as padded and as soaked in beer and cigarette stains.
Yes. Yeah. Long story short is that Cinemora is Darius went to Area 88's party and had sex with Ikaruga, and the kid turned out to be a furry, and that's the game. Actually sounds like he's wanking
Before I go, let me overproduce the final thing you're going to hear.
Play us off, keyboard twat.
Wouldn't you prefer a good game of chess? Later. Let's play. War. Fine.
You can follow us at We Are The Lolocaust on Twitter with a letter R.
After the letter E.
I'm at The Voice of Sex. Hamhock is...
Dr. Hamhock, that's Dr. Hamhock, as in a piece of meat from a pig.
Bouncy is Bouncy Ball with an H after the second B. because I don't think we've mentioned that.
Yeah, a couple of times.
Please give a cursory glance to the Gamescast, where I do the apps news, the Mature Gamer podcast, where Bouncy does the bits that are funny, the Monday Movie Show, who have always been a very good friend to the show, and possibly do the only good movie reviews going now that Ebert's popped his clogs.
R.I.P. bro.
I like the fact you couldn't say Ebert without becoming Yorkshire. Ebert.
He be barking.
He turned into Scatman.
He
be barking, dude.
You don't know what it's like until you've had to eat hot gravel out of a spoon. 2 thumbs up.
Do you keep champion home in piggy-ons?
We are the Lolocaust.
You have been listening to We Are The Lolocaust. Follow us at www.lolocaust.co.uk.